Bought these Clearview mirrors on eBay, $530. Thought I was getting myself a bargain, but only 1 out of the 4 actuators work. So I'm going to try and pull them apart and see if I can fix them. So it's the usual trick, getting your screwdriver in, just like the instructional videos on the Clearview website. Click those off. This does come off relatively easily, just harder to do when you're holding a camera in one hand. So that's our actuator. You got a motor with a gearbox in it, rack and pinion gear drive, 1 sluice one way and 1 sluice the other way. And mine do not work. They have voltage to the rails, plus or minus 12 volts to each motor, controlled by the switch on the dash there. Unscrew those screws. Once you've it out, don't worry about how to reseat it, because there's an up arrow on the back. The cable with the extension is just a 4-blade slip. And those little guide pins go on the inside. Take the back off, that exposes the contacts. Okay, so the first step is to get rid of that circuit board, and you do that by pushing through one of these little pins here, pushing those out, and then the back of this board slides off. So pop that off, and that just lifts out, so they just slide on. The way I'm doing this is to use my trusty Bosch cordless, and just very gently drill each of these out. What I've used is a special bent screwdriver. I actually built this several years ago for breaking into my own car. You can also gently use a fine tip screwdriver and push it through from the back like that. And then on the other side, the motor casing, the housing will pop off. Okay, first view is that the previous owner of these second-hand mirrors has submerged or inadvertently wet these, and that's why they're all gummed up. Now what I've discovered is that this little ball joint arrangement, it's the only point of fixing for the rack, but I've got to crack the, I've got to basically pull this pivot point out, so I've squeezed it in a vise to compress it that way, and I can hopefully pop this pin out here and pull the whole thing apart. Okay, so I've managed to pop this out. You can see that it's sort of floating free there. So now I'm going to basically try and dismantle the casing and see if I can pull out the actuator. I think I've got success, so just gently wiggle that out, and there are my 2 actuators, all probably seized up. This little ball joint at the top, you can gently roll that back and it just pops out. So that gives you clean and clear access to pull this thing apart and see if we can free this up. Alright, so I've pulled that apart. That's the gearbox mechanism. There's the motor. You can see there's a flat blade on the shaft there. Looks very clearly like it's been submerged in water. I squirted a little bit of trusty WD in there, and very, very gently with these vice grips tried to turn the shaft. It's seized, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop those little tabs out, and basically I'll have to pull the armature out. I didn't actually have to pull this apart. I just cracked those tabs just to loosen off the casing, and was able to wiggle it out a little bit, and that seemed to free it when I turned it by hand. So I'm going to put only a very small amount of voltage on, 6 volts, my trusty 20-year-old Dick Smith. Here goes. Okay, looks like it's fixed. Good stuff. Okay, now this time I'm at 12 volts maximum power. This is unregulated power supply, so it's probably closer to a car voltage of 14. And she works like a charm. The reverse of the dismantling. So that's got to sit on there. That little beam has to pop through, and then it all clips together. Okay, I think the easiest way to put this back together is, I don't know if you can see it, but this little pin here, you can poke through the bottom and pop that off. So I'll just pop that off. It just comes apart like that. Now I can reassemble this, put the motors in, and then clip this this pivot pin in last. And I've actually realised that I don't need to worry about re-screwing this back together, and the reason is those 4 original holding screws that screwed it into the Clearview assembly on the car will actually clamp this thing together. Okay, I finally got this back together. Use the vise to squeeze this way and pop this back in, making sure that those This clip was back in place, and now again my trusty Dick Smith 12 volt dodgy power supply, one way, the other way. Perfect. Okay, obviously don't forget to put the rubber cap, the plastic cap back on. That just clips on, and the rubber boot. There's a large diameter and there's a smaller diameter. It's pretty obvious. Large diameter goes there, small diameter goes on the back. Just put 2 screws in just to see if it'll hold. Okay, pop that in, make sure it's reseated top and bottom. I believe they're $40 each from Clearview. Awesome. All done. Saved myself $80.